Recording also. So hi guys, my name is Akshay. I'm welcome to my first episode for Chit Chat Beyond Boundaries. My today's guest is Nisha Karki, if you can see. So she is my mentor for almost 5 years. I might be knowing her, and I guess we started meeting. We first met in Consulted, right, Nisha? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
Nisha, I will give my audience little bit background of Nisha. So Nisha is from Nepal, and she moved in to New York 10 to 15 years ago. No, 12 years ago. If I'm pretty
Yeah.
precise, she is living in New York for almost 10 years now, and she's not a even though she's girl from Nepal, but I guess she's more a New Yorker now. So she loves to ride. She's running a wonderful firm in Consultad, which I was part in for initial 2 to 3 years, and I worked with her. And it's just a short description. So welcome, Nisha, for my first show. I'm glad that you accepted my request, and hopefully we can share our thoughts on today's topics, various topics, and my audience would like to know about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Yeah. So my also first question was that how is all going there, because it's huge. We are all suffering from
Actually,
pandemic. So
yeah.
what's the situation there?
Well, at the moment, I'm in New York City. I'm in the heart of where I live. It's very heart of New York City.
Yeah.
I'm around Chelsea area, which is in Manhattan. So it's been hit pretty hard.
Okay.
But I guess touch wood, I think working in IT and having the flexibility to work from home, it hasn't impacted one of the things that a lot of people have been impacted is their job and economy and,
Sure.
not being able to pay rent and being kicked out. So luckily, I didn't have to face all that. We had really good system even when the pandemic was happening, and the government asked the citizens of New York City to stay put, stay home, and maintain the distance. We had Amazon who sort of helped us with all of the groceries. Yeah, there was panic for a bit
Right.
around March. Granted, I've been inside home for almost 3 months now, but slowly
Oh,
I've started to I have some mask and I have started to walk around by Hudson River. So it's
okay.
nice, but yeah, I think I'm one of those lucky one who can't directly tell you what has been the really gruesome impact of this pandemic, which is really huge in New York City and all over the world.
Yes, I've seen your videos too. The one the submarine you showed, sorry, the ship
Yeah,
showed, which was converted from a ship to a hospital
zero.
on the Hudson River. So I'm pretty sure you're safe now, and also Basha is safe. Basha, if people don't know, is Bharat. Bharat is how can I tell people who is Bharat? So Nisha,
Um,
you can add.
yeah, Bharat is my partner,
Yeah, yeah. So Bharat,
and a lot
I
of people like to call him Basha for some reason unknown.
I've worked with Bharat very closely. He's also a mentor of mine. He has guided me a lot. So Nisha, I wanted to ask you how you started from, means a girl from Nepal, then
Yeah.
moved to states, and I guess in 2008 when I was in school. Means I don't want to make you feel old, but in 2008,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It feels like ages.
yeah,
Um,
yes. So I would love to hear your story.
Absolutely. So I think I really, it was my fate because ever since I have memory of having some conscience, I always wanted to be doctor. And as I grew older, I knew specifically I wanted to be neurosurgeon. But it just so happened that when I completed my high school, which is +2 in Nepal, I got really sick. I had already prepared for medical school. I had given the test. I had results come out positive from one school, and I didn't get into the school that I wanted because it was government school and with a lot of scholarship. Even though I didn't get in that, I had an admission open with another school that I could have joined, but I got really sick, and then I was in hospital for like more than a normal person should be, like anyone sick should be. And then I had to completely bed rest for 4 months, and then I was recommended to take rest and not strain myself, my body, my brain for a whole year. And that is when it hit me that I could die anytime. And if I was really gonna die, do I want to spend my 5 years studying medical and going through all that, reliving that again? And I have one of my cousin who got married to a guy who is serving for Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Nepal, and they are very close to me. She's my first cousin. I adore my brother-in-law. As in Nepal we call our cousins brother and sister. So
Yeah.
I adore my brother-in-law. Have been very supportive. It sort of exposed me to sort of like the area of diplomacy, international relation. And I didn't take that path either. But that was one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to come to United States, because when I looked into where could I get education, it was not Nepal. So
Okay.
two places it kind of made sense to me was either India or US. And India felt like just like home, but then I'll be paying premium.
Right.
So it felt like a better choice. I mean, I didn't put a lot of thought on it, but I just went for it. I applied for school here. I told my parents after I got um, my admission to the school, because
Right.
I took part time from one of the consultancy who were helping students get into schools, and I paid for all of my expenses until then. From I was taking TOEFL and SATs, and I did that all that time. Meanwhile, I just told my parents that because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But then my parents were supportive, and ever since I've been here.
Yes. So I also heard that you have, means what I like to know little bit in deep, how is life in Nepal for you, means uh,
Hmm.
and how is life in New York? You had to you have
Yeah,
to face some struggles, right? Initially,
yeah,
when move
absolutely.
into any new country, and country like your states, which is very open, and we are going and trying to adjust in the livelihood in New
Yeah,
York, for example. You are in New York for 10 years. So what the struggles you face initially, because weather is
sure.
also weather is also in concern, because I don't think so
Oh,
neighbor
yeah.
will be concerned, because you'll be living
No,
into
it was.
Nepal is been a very you can say pollution free country, and you
Mhm.
living into mountains, so that not be a concern. But I would like to know
It
any
actually
struggles.
was.
Okay.
It actually was, because the first time I came to US, it was not New York City. I came to Minnesota,
Okay.
and I thought, like, how cold can it be?
Okay.
But it was really cold. I think I have said this story to almost everyone. My first day in class, I was late because I was jet lagged. I just come the last night and I had class in the next morning. So I just
Okay.
quickly washed my face, just rubbed it, and I was living on dorms, which is hostels,
Okay.
and that was on campus. So you just have to walk like maybe 4 minutes to get to your class. And within those minutes, the droplets in my eyelashes, they froze.
Okay.
Like it was that cold. It
That's
was
good.
December. Oh no, it was January, and it was so cold. And then I continued, but then I started getting cold allergies to the point like my fingers they started swelling up, and I my whole hand they started to like grow darker. And then when I tested out to be allergic to the cold.
Oh,
It was apparently a thing. So then that is when I thought, like, I've always, and I grew up, um I was a voracious reader, so I grew up reading American literature from, I mean, I was like very diversified. I would read some abridged form of Shakespeare to Jane Austen to Keats to, I even read like all those Nancy Drews and Tintin and all that, right? So New York and Manhattan was a place that I always wanted to be. And like the decision to just come to US, I just decided, I'm just gonna go and check New York and see how that's gonna be. And I loved it. I loved the feel. I loved the chaos here. There's so many people and so much of the things to do. As a student, you do struggle, because when you come to this new country, you do not have that support system,
true.
be mentally or like physically. Like you have when you're home, you have your parents looking after you. Here, if you're living with friends of your same age or in dorm, you have to take care of yourself.
True.
Something that I had to learn how to budget myself. Like, you can't
That's
just go
important.
around spending, right?
Yes.
And then budget my time as well. I think budgeting my time was the biggest concern, because you're taking classes and you're going out and you're doing so many other things all by yourself.
True.
So that was concern. But other than that, I'm very lucky again that my parents were very liberal. I lived in second largest city in Nepal when I grew up. I grew up in Viratnagar with um, with every mindset in my family that, that didn't stop me from adopting my life in New York. And then also the fact that I came here for my bachelor's right after my high school. I think I was quite young and naive to just even understand like the grasp, even to grasp that, you know magnitude of the change that I was going through. So it sort of like came naturally.
Yes, yes. So I've also heard that I have a concern. Why though New Yorkers have a clash with California guys? When it is also a East Coast West Coast, just like a Pune
I
Mumbai
didn't,
thing.
I
So
didn't know there was a clash.
I don't know. I've heard.
But
I also watch some late night shows. So definitely they have some episodes
yeah,
where New Yorkers will have some say on life in LA. So have lived in LA, right? You have lived in.
not LA. I lived in I lived in suburb of San
Okay.
Francisco.
So what's there? Because why
Yeah.
people also because I heard that New Yorkers are very rude. I don't think so. Why though they are rude, and it's a bit judgmental. I don't know. I've been
Mhm.
on news,
I
but
mean, that's general conception, even
yeah,
in
yeah.
US.
If you can
Yeah,
give me a little bit of why you
absolutely.
love New York a lot.
Absolutely. So, here in US, unlike Nepal or India, and particularly in states like Minnesota, or if you go to Texas or Philly, a
True,
lot of states, people are generally outwardly kind and nice.
true,
So, couple of courtesies, like if you're walking, somebody, if they are coming out of a door in a public space, they would still hold the door for you.
hmm,
They will smile at you. Absolute strangers, you will be on elevator and they will be smiling at you. They will have small talks like, hey, how you doing, or like, the weather is so crappy today, or I hope your day is going great. So that kind of feels like, oh, the people are so nice. I mean, it feels like they care. It feels like, they want to be friends with you.
true.
So that's normal in a lot of other states, versus New York is literally a hot pot of a lot of immigrants. So
Right.
not everyone over here comes with mentality to have that small talk with each other. And also with immigration, right? I may be wrong, but I'm just going to say all my perceptions. There are a lot of people who live very frugally with time as well as money. So they're using trains, they're busy taking five different kind of jobs, part times, and going to school. So they don't normally have time to just smile at you. Someone, there might be a person who is just so exhausted. You'll see a lot of people sleeping in the train. We call them subway systems.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you'll just dozing off whenever they can get a chance. So
True,
so
true.
that could lead to a perception that New Yorkers are rude. But I think, again, like, when I was like really young and naive when I came here, and I see people and everybody's busy, and if you politely ask for direction or for help, they normally do offer help. They are not gonna, like, be judgmental or something. Contrary, I've found, like, let's say tourists, if you end up asking direction from a tourist, because every third person in New York City in Manhattan could be a tourist,
True.
so they kind of like play prank sometimes. They will give you wrong directions.
Okay.
So yeah, there is a general conception that New Yorkers are rude, but I just think they are frugal with their time and energy.
Okay, okay. So you have got some New York accent still?
No, I mean, I don't think so, because even though I've been here since 2008, 2009, there was a huge chunk of my life that I spent in India. So
Okay.
whatever accent I had gotten, maybe now it's mixed. Like, I studied here. I did my bachelor's here, and then I started my master's. So you kind of adopt, and especially because I was younger. Like, I was not even on my 20s when I started the classes. So
True.
I had adopted those accents through classes. And then I went to India, I went to Nepal, and then I was in Texas for a while around different communities of immigrants. And then my accent just became like weird. Like, it's from nowhere now. It's
Yeah,
not from New York, not from India, not from Nepal. I don't know where it is from.
yeah, yeah. So I also I'm trying to copy some New York accent but
Why is that?
I don't know why. I just I was watching Friends, so just copying Joey a lot. Means how you're
Okay.
doing
How
and
you doing?
yeah, yeah. So that's a little bit a New Yorker. So I just
Yeah.
want, and one thing means I had a concern. mostly, that women's in means what difference as a woman, what difference you felt
Mhm.
in, because growing up in Nepal, and also in India. So
Yeah,
and just moving as a very young age, in means 20.
yeah,
So what life has been, it's different, because your friends will be in Nepal. So
yeah,
what they told, what experience they shared, and what you told about the life of a woman in New
absolutely.
York. So that must be a difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, life here is very liberating.
Okay.
Like, when you're a teenager, you want to go out. You don't want to have restriction on what you're wearing,
True.
experimentation. It was fun that you were not liable to answer to anyone,
Mhm.
in the sense, because if I was living by myself, there were days when I was on my campus, forget about having fun, but on my campus till 11 p.m.
Okay.
But then there was sort of sense of liberation that I don't feel unsafe.
Okay.
Like, I'm wearing shorts and I don't feel like I need to be protected. I need a male friend or a family, or I don't feel scared that would my mom be angry because I'm so late? It's normal. The life is running. Like, you asked me why New York, because literally the life is running all the time, and I felt very protected, very safe here because it's so crowded. You
True.
know, there's always some people walking around or doing something. So there are times where I did come back of my work or my class, and by the time I reached home, it was midnight or 12:30 because I decided to stay a little bit longer with my friend and have dinner. And then I never felt unsafe. I never felt judged for my clothes, for my,
True.
well, yeah, even like, I think another part of being in New York is there's just so many type of people. I didn't feel judged for my skin, for my accent,
True.
for this person that I was.
True.
So it was quite liberating, which I think in Nepal I was quite young to even sense that. But when I started working temporarily in Pune, there was this concern for me. Like,
Mhm.
there were times where, and when you have to adapt to the society that you are in, but it was quite discerning that if you are a woman, and pardon me, I'm not an Indian, so it doesn't really make sense for me to make these comments, but these are again my opinion, how I felt. I was seeking like a male presence if I had to go out later at night because I want to feel protected.
True.
I felt like a lot of eyes staring at me. Like, the first time I went to, like, second time I went back to Pune, I had completely blonde hair and I was getting random requests for photos. And that felt like a huge invasion to my privacy, and people were staring, and there were a lot of cat callings if I was walking along alone. I was mistreated. I feel like I was mistreated by security guards in Jasminium, Pune, Magarpatta.
Yes.
They were like precisely very rude to me, in sense like, you do not seem like you belong to this building, because I worked New York timing, so I was coming back in those apartments 3 a.m.
True.
And I understand that you want to secure the perimeter, but there were sometimes comments, those are just too harsh. Like, they were portraying me in a light where it felt like I am such a bad person.
Mhm.
And typically there were questions raised to my character, and I'm simply doing is coming back from my office. Could it be because I was putting a lot of makeup? Was it my hair? Was it my tank top? What was it, right? So that was quite heartbreaking for me. Yeah, but the New York feels quite liberating.
Yes, yes. I guess people here in India also are been into a transformation phase, where a lot of, means my generation is
Yeah,
into lot more into social media, and
yeah.
watching some stuff
And
in US states. So maybe
let
this.
me tell you one more
Yeah. Yeah.
observation. All those catcallings that I faced, I'm not going to speak for somebody else, was not from people of my generation or your generation. It
Okay.
was always somebody older than that age.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so there was this sense of relief that, as the generation is changing, there is coming a sort of more courteous, more woke
Yeah.
generation is coming in India.
Right.
So that was sort of like solace, but it also at the same time, I mean, you're looking at someone who you would look at as somebody who would be responsible, or somebody that you would look up to, and
True.
those people were like making it difficult or uncomfortable for me to just go on to my task, like just a simple task as taking walking to a nearby grocery store and coming back home on a short
Mhm.
on a very hot India day. Like
Yeah,
India was exceptionally hot than what I expected. That was like some days felt like a crime.
yeah. So we can move on to a next question for sure. I've listed a lot more questions, but I think so. A lot of people means from our old office, I've all received that what you feel for feminism in stuff. Why uh, do US have that stuff that women are paid equally, or is just
And
on growing basis? Because I've heard that last year I'm not sure, but the United States football
yeah,
women's team won the World Cup, they had a huge buzz going that we should be paid equally to what men's
yeah,
are paid.
women's march and all that.
Yes, yes,
Um,
and I also add to at the same point when the Indian women's cricket team was asked about the same question. So why are women sports or athletes are not paid equal to men? So this one of the rising cricket star, the Smriti Mandana, told that uh, it's not that concern when we bring when the day when we'll bring the market, or you can say a stuff which is required for cricket, the endorsements and all stuff, so definitely we can ask. For now we can't ask equal means in stuff for in sports, literally, because it's difference. Because men's cricket, for example, I'm telling cricket because I know men's cricket have some stuffs, and they get endorsements and sponsorships and TV ads, rights, everything. Women crickets are it's been growing, so that stuff is there. So what's your view on that?
I think that's totally wrong. Well, I agree that as I've gained more experience, when I first came to US, it felt like really land of dreams where everything was just,
Mm.
everything was perfect. I felt like it was a very merit-based society, but then it's not.
Okay.
It is true. Women, dollar to dollar, for the same work, same hour, women are not paid equally as men. Minority are not paid equally as majority. If you are person of color, female gender, there is disparity in United States, and a lot is going on right now, especially with system brutality and all that. Even in US, women's soccer team demanded to be
True.
treated in the same way as men's soccer, while they were performing better than men's soccer, right? And
Yes.
I didn't follow to it too much, but I think that the voice then died, like the movement just died with not real progress there. And the people stating that, for something like sports, which has a governing body,
Mm.
you can't say that you bring the output first and then we'll give you
Mhm.
all of the resources that required. No, you can't do that, because how will women cricket team grow if they don't have the resources? I think I watched the movie Dhoni, where this was sort of like brought into picture, like if we don't have resources, we cannot give you superstars in cricket. I think there was like a comment like that.
True.
Same thing goes with everything. You have to invest. I have huge on feminism and equality. And when I say feminism, a lot of people think it's just banning men. It's not that. It's just, I think I had this conversation with you or somebody else a couple of years ago as well. Like, I want to see a day where we no longer celebrate Women Day, because that has to be
True.
normal.
Yeah.
It cannot be a woman CFO. It has to
Yes.
be CEO. It
Yes.
cannot be women Olympic player. It cannot be women doctor. So we have to get to the day that where it's so normal that you don't take a double look or double take on it, right? But to happen that it's like asking a short people and a very tall people to pluck an apple and win the contest.
Mhm.
Naturally, the very tall people is going to win, and metaphorically, that short people are minority.
True.
So the equality over here is not putting them in front of the tree. The equality over here is giving the shorter person a ladder
True.
or some kind of competitive advantage, because without that they will not move forward. So asking women cricket team, and in the same way people of minorities saying that, hey, the majority and minority have the same rights, same resources, you're lazy, you can't do it, that's wrong. You have to give a higher push, you have to give more focus. You have to put more effort so that everybody euphorically, ideally, can come to the level of just being, in the same pace. And I don't think it will ever be, but we have to move towards a more perfect system.
Yes, yes, but I think so. In terms of the the IT industry, I guess the barriers
Yeah.
are been on the verge of downwards. I guess because
Oh, true.
I've seen
And cost.
because in consultant in personal I can say I don't feel any discrimination based on when in gender. You have skills, you have worked
Yeah.
hard, you'll get whatever you deserve, right? So
Yes.
that is that culture in IT. If you have experience in United
Yes,
States
a
too.
lot, a lot. I think in IT and any technical skill set, women are moving forward. Um, the question arises now. Let's not go to the point where does their family, their home, their society support them or not. But if they are at that point, even in my professional experience, I have seen a lot of VPs and directors who are women, but the chief level still men are more prominent.
Mhm.
That is how it is right now. But yes, I definitely feel like, especially on the human resources side and on the IT side, there are more and more women. If they have made to the education, getting job is not a barrier. But the question is, are they sort of encouraged to get into that field or not? Like, even to this day, parents do not realize, but they push their daughters towards Barbie while they push their sons towards soccer or
True.
football or cars. And then you push your daughter to become nurse while you push your boys to become army and all that, right? So these are unconscious biases that has been going on and on and on. And I think that needs to be removed. But once you have made it through them, I think yes, IT and any technical field has lesser, or it's more friendlier to
Yeah.
women compared to more leadership positions.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. So I also wanted to add that what you feel, what cultural difference did you, because you lived in Nepal, you lived in
Yeah,
states, you lived in India also. So
yeah,
what things you feel that okay, we can grab this culture or this good points so that we can grow, because everyone in the society is up and down. I definitely don't think that states is far more ahead than India or Nepal or India are too ahead of some things. But what good things you can say we can take from these cultures, from Nepal,
definitely.
from India, from our states.
Yeah, absolutely. So, naturally in Western society we say that that bond of family and friend is lesser. I have seen contrary to it. I have seen families that are really bonded, American family that are very bonded, parents still live with their children, they don't want their child to leave the home or go away. But I certainly feel like US could take learn from Nepalese culture to sort of like relax and tone it down, because US culture is a lot aggressive on work ethic. I think the country is built on encouraging people to work and devote their life and working. So I think there needs to be a balance where the corporation should understand. Like, for example, in India, if you want to take a day off for your second cousin's wedding, it sounds normal.
Hmm.
In US, it doesn't sound normal, right? So there's that trade-off. um for India, I'll definitely say that India is moving, the new generation is moving towards the right direction, which is being less judgmental, putting less pressure on children as they're growing up. I
True,
mean, naturally, it's a country, it's a complex country with a lot of population.
true.
But I think there has to be a bit of like more, um, letting children some sense of responsibility, that they become responsible rather than sort of pushed on a path by parents.
True.
So that bit of lax, and I think Nepalese should just relax less. I think in Nepal it's just a lot of party and a lot of family gathering. I think Nepalese should start buckling up and working a little bit more.
More.
I think that's necessary.
Okay, okay, that's a very good answer, I guess. So also, I think so. The one question arises because you mentioned in, I guess we 2 to 3 years ago you mentioned that I wanted to entrepreneur, and but I failed, and
Yeah.
and moved on from, and I learned something. So I need, if you can give me a little, if that's not hard on you, because if, because
Mhm.
lot many people
It's
don't
not.
talk about failures, means they don't
No,
want
it's not at all difficult to talk about failure because every failure has taught me something. I failed, literally failed in so many things.
okay.
Um, but entrepreneurship to me came at a point where I was going through a family loss. My father, and then it was a point where I felt like I there was this project on my head. I think in their life, everyone becomes entrepreneur at least once in their head, at
Okay.
least once in their life, because they will always have that idea, right?
Yes.
So I was at a phase where I was dwindling. I didn't know what to do, where to move. I was grieving a lot of things, and I got support from Bharat, and I thought, yeah, this is a good time to do it. Just move ahead with it.
Hmm.
I failed because I failed to do a lot of homework about the market. It felt like, I have to seize the day. There was nobody doing that thing, whatever I was trying to do in Nepal. So I felt I need to seize it. But on the process, uh, a very crucial, I did a lot of research on the product, on the market, on the demand, but I forgot to research, just like the dumbest thing to do, on shipment.
Okay.
And you can't sell without shipment, right?
True.
There was a lot of overhead cost, and I had a question to ask myself, like, am I ready to put that investment in this business? And that answer didn't come to me. I mean, I can still put that investment, but I wasn't certain in my head that I'm a real entrepreneur who would give it in all.
Okay.
Because your business, you need to, like, for at least until the time it takes a traction or you make a decision of moving forward or not, you have to put it all.
True.
And I didn't feel like I'm cut out for that, so I just politely
Hold
said,
on. Okay. So
yeah.
are you plan, if in future, means that experience will count, if in
Yeah.
future if you get an opportunity to start something, and
Hmm.
will you be ready for that, based
I
on
think
the
so.
experience?
Yeah, I think a lot of time has passed, and I have done a lot in between then and now. I was involved in process of making softwares, took the ownership, understood where the failures could come. I've
Okay.
seen another venture failure which was not mine, and I sort of had my own understanding why it failed. You
True.
sort of were part of it as well,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I thought, like, I sort of judged why it could have failed, and I've worked with teams. So I think if I have to go to an entrepreneurship route, I think I'll be ready. But I just feel like I'm not one of those entrepreneur. Like, my my ambitions were always towards. I was always more inclined towards relations, diplomacy, politics, the social things that are happening. But becoming an immigrant, a lot of time you don't have the same voice, right,
Mhm.
as you are at
True.
home,
True.
because you are sometimes just so busy making your ends meet, creating a space for yourself in this different country, and always sort of also scared, like, are you allowed to speak it out loud?
True.
Would it backfire on you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so and as you are less aware of your rights, and as you are younger, it's easy to be frightened, it's easy to be intimidated. But as I age, I'm feeling more and more strongly about my voice, so I may take a public space,
Mhm.
even if it means, I think the biggest step for me would be to have that courage to take that first leap, which I'm still trying to muster. But but yeah, either way, either or entrepreneurship or the public, I think if I do bug down, I think I can do it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I also, I've gone through, I've seen you closely, your work life, how you handle your private and work life, very very soothingly. It's very, I think so, inspiration for me. So how, what you can suggest me, or any audience, that how to handle some your work life, and your private life, because it gets tangled indifferently, because
Yeah.
in something you have your mind in, and you went to office, that the things are back of the mind and you can't concentrate fully on your work. So anything, any suggestion you have on that topic?
Absolutely. I think it becomes very easy to find that balance or let go of that balance if you're passionate about your work or workplace or people you work with, right? So if you enjoy your work, you are okay sometimes to let go of that balance. I'm
Okay.
not saying that you should,
Okay.
but then it liberates you, like, it liberates you of guilt that you might have.
Okay.
um, I definitely think as a youth, you should put in all efforts that you can, because with every task that you take, it will be a newer task for you, right? What you did yesterday versus where are you pushing yourself today. So
True.
you're always learning. As you grow of certain age, you start meeting people, and you need to put effort to maintain that balance of relationship. You'll soon have your children, and you need to focus on those times. So I think as a youth, I would definitely recommend you to just barge in and take the job, even if you think you are only 60, 70, 80% skilled, to
Hmm.
take that job, take the challenges, put in those extra hours instead of Netflix and chilling or just bothering someone and
Yes.
stalking someone.
Yes.
um, Learn. Don't just get focused on just doing the work technically.
Hmm.
Understand the essence, like also be aware of what's happening around you, be informed.
Hmm.
And keep your eyes open for newer opportunities. Learn about yourself. Is that a work that you enjoy? Do you see yourself in future doing it? If not, I think it's so much easier to change your directions when you're teenager and 20 something versus 30 something, 40 something, right? I was a medical student who went on to business school and then went on to IT, then started database masters, and then decided, no, that's not for me. I'll continue working IT and still figure out.
True.
But
True.
now it's not as easy for me to make those changes, like
Right.
how it was easier for me when I was a teenager, like just to
Yeah.
switch. Um, because your life changed, your priority changed. So I would just recommend to just buckle up, put your work ethic in, network, find mentors, understand if that is a work you want to do or not,
Hmm.
and then sort of diversify if you're not happy.
Yeah. Okay. That's quite. I will be touch. I will be in touch with you, and I guess you always help me in some or other manner. And on the end of the note, on this session, I will love to know things you loved about Pune, because my lot more audience
Mhm.
is from Pune. So what
Absolutely.
you experience in Pune, I think so. When I was there, I introduced to you about the Wari culture, then about our Ganesh festival. I was
Yeah.
involved with you a lot more, introducing you stuff which you haven't experienced, right? So
Yeah.
what you think about the city Pune, and you
Absolutely.
love to
Um,
live here. That's
Absolutely. I think coming from an online news generation where India is just portrayed in such negative light, right? For somebody who's not from India,
true.
coming to Pune was a bliss. I felt very secure. It was like contrary to my belief. It is still a very secure city with very open-minded people, very chill too. Like they, to the point, like you can sort of like put them on New Yorker blog, like they don't care.
Okay.
And then they'll speak to you straight up. And then there's a language I didn't know I wanted to learn that I didn't. Um, so many variety of cuisine. Like, it was not just going in and taking food that you would see in Karan Johar's movie. Like I got introduced to like so many fusion, and it is a really nice place to be. Like I've in India I haven't traveled so much, but of all the cities that I have
Right.
traveled, Pune was a place where I could choose to just go very authentically local or shut myself in and harbor myself in Magarpatta and
True.
just like sort of like you know close the door to like the real India.
Right.
And I don't mean it in a bad way. Like there were days I wanted to shut down and just focus on certain thing, and it allowed me that opportunity. So I have nothing but good thing to say about India, and also I have good things to say about people. I'm not sure if it is because I came into a corporation and people had this sense of we need to be polite and respectful to each other. But
Mhm.
I think working with youth, it was so opposite of what I read in newspaper.
Hmm.
Or I was coming into India for the first time. I was sort of scared on how to conduct myself, but like over 200 people times 4 years where we keep
Right.
changing people, right? I have never really had any bad experience with people.
Oh,
And then that sort of now begs the question, when you do go into an environment, keeping yourself open to experiences, at the end, people are people.
right.
Like I didn't really find difference between my friends in New York Toro College classroom
Right.
versus people in India versus Nepal. It
Right.
wasn't like I was alien or they were trying to harm me. They are there to get to me. No, people versus people. Once you start talking and then getting each other's joke, once you start getting each other, at the end, like there's not really much difference, and that's how I felt.
Yeah, I think so. That sums a lot, because the people in Pune are they love to live in a zone. They don't, means they have a, you can say, a different swag, and they carry their own, you can say, they carry their own national flag around here. So that's the thing. So on because it's already, we are past 30 minutes. I was, so anything you want to have some feedback, any suggestions, any thing for me which I can implement in my life, because I'm 28 and I'm trying to figure out things, because after 2 to 3 years I can't take lot more risk, because maybe I will get married and stuff. So any suggestion for my for whatever our audience watching, that how you should conduct and have some short goals and have some long term goals in any
Yeah,
short, in quick,
absolutely. I think if you exclude yourself from society and expectation, you can take risk anytime. But we as people, we are not capable of that. We always feel like we are being judged, and that's quite heavy on us if
True.
that judgment is coming from family, right? So when you say when you're 30 and you might not be able to take risk, that's not quite true. But I was just talking from my perspective, like how I feel pressured or whatever it is. You're 28. One thing I want you to understand is you are at your own speed. And don't be flustered if things always don't go your way. Try to figure out how can you mature out of that experience of
Mm,
winning, losing, compromising, whatever it is, and try to understand your voice. Try to understand who are you and why are you doing whatever you are doing. Why are you earning other than making money?
mm,
Or just if life to you is just be happy, eat food, do your job, that is you. There is no judgment. There cannot be. So you just understand yourself and do, as long as you are not harming others in process, like directly,
mhm.
just be you. Life will not be same for everyone, and we are in an age of social media. We look at other people's home and breakfast and filtered photos. Only those people know their pain and insecurities, right?
Yes.
And if you start judging yourself from the celebrities, influencer, the life will be just unhappy. So try to live in the moment
Yeah.
and take risk, take more risk, take chances on the things that matter to you. And I think I cannot always guarantee you happiness, because it doesn't always lead to happy
Yes.
path, but it will definitely lead you to more
Learning.
satisfied, more fuller life.
Yes. Yes. So I think so. We are on almost end of this
Uh,
session. So
a lot of time
I
taken.
will I would like to thank you, Nisha, because it means a lot. You've been my first guest, and you always have taught me a lot more things, and I'm continuously following you, learning things from you. And I guess we can have another, you can say, after months or so, we can also have another part two session with you, and would love to know about you. So for now, I guess it's late for you too, because it's almost 10:30, 11 o'clock at in Saturday. You have, and I know you have to take some good sleep. So for I also thank you, thank you.
Thank you again for having me. Thank you so much for making me your first guest. It means a lot. And this is a great initiative. So keep up.
Yeah.
And just thank you for having me. Okay.
Yes. Thank you,
Have
Nisha. Thank
a
you.
great day.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.